Well, today's episode is going to be a very exciting one. So, as you probably know, we are finally going to catch up with all of Stardom's much recent events as we go from day 8 to day 13, which is the finals of the annual Tag Team Round Robin Tournament, Goddesses of Stardom Tag League. So, we will see how far they will go. Now, however, as you know, as we get closer toward the end, we don't go to the point based system. It basically goes into single elimination. So we'll get to there once every point has been counted and what they've been announced. So that's what's going to be. It's all about Stardom. And also to add, there'll be no news updates for today because I want to focus on this. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information is unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment and description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. Let's get cracking. So, as you all know, it's all about Stardom. So let's begin with day 8 of Goddesses of Stardom Tag League. Okay, day 8, Stardom, Goddesses of Stardom Tag League. This happened, of course, on the 23rd of November at the big Paletti Fukushima, which is in Koriyama, Fukushima in Japan, of course. And let's begin, of course, with with matches that are not related to the tag league. So we opened up with the Cosmic Angels, consisting of Sayaka Kurara, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori, taking on the members of Neo Genesis, Miyu Masaki, Azumi, and Mei Sita. And of course, many of us we know that recently there's been, of course, the interesting taming between Mei Sita and Yuna Mizumori, and now they're in the opposite direction. But of course, we all know that Yuna Mizumori has one thing in mind, of course, in her head, and that is a shot of the High Speed Championship. Well, she was able to pick up the win when she applied the Supergirl onto Mei Sita, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. However, I wouldn't be surprised if she gets this opportunity at the last show of the year, which is, of course, Queen Dreamdom, Dream Queendom, of course, and we'll see about that. Now, our next match, well, this is our last match, which is of the non-tag league tournament. We have Hanako teaming up with Momo Kogo. They take on, of course, Kyoko Furuzawa and Saya Kamitani. So, interesting enough that we have people in different factions. But however, the only exception is Furuzawa, who is not in fact in any faction whatsoever. But more likely, she was the one who ended up losing this match after she ended up being brain bust by Hanako. And just like that, one, two, three, it was over. Now let's jump in, of course, with tag league matches, starting with the Red Goddesses. We have a DLM, which is Osita and Teoleko, taking on God's Eye members Rani Agami and Hina. Now, of course, many of us have been watching this team, DLML, luchadoras from Mexico, and of course, many of us know is Koko Minosuke. Shh. So anyway, of course, the Osita and Teo Leko really picked up the win. So just like that, it was completely over, and they get themselves 7 points, and of course, God's Eye just 4. Now we jump into Blue Goddesses. We have the members of Fate, Rina and Koguma, taking on star members B. Priestley and Saya Ida. Now, it's no secrets between, of course, B. Priestley and Konami. For those who don't know, these ladies knew each other very well during their Queen's Quest time, so it's interesting they get to see each other. But, however, luckily, it was in fact B. Priestley that picked up the win for her teammates, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. And they picked up the next win with a total points of 8, leaving Hate with just 6. Now, our next match, we return back to the Red Goddesses. We have Mi Vida Loca, consisted of of Akira Kurugani and Bozilla taking on Hate members Raka and Natsuko Tora. Now, of course, it's no secret when it comes to Hate members, of course, and our current tag champions, Natsuko Tora and Raka, that they will definitely try to play dirty tricks, which has been well documented and well known in throughout their history. But however, it was of course Bozilla that put what's her name, Natsuko Tora, away with the power driver, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, they gain next 2 points with a total points of 4, leaving of course BMI 2000 with just 6. Now we jump back, of course, with um, Red Goddesses. We have EXV, consistent of Ryan and Waka Tsukiyama, taking on the Cosmic Angels, Sayuri Anu and Natsupoi. Now, of course, we know that Waka has some history towards the Cosmic Angels, especially when Natsupoi, as you all know, she was part of that group long before she left. And we all know that Waka was definitely determined to pick up the win. She probably knows her ins and outs on her former teammate. We know she hasn't teamed up with Sayuri Anu before, but however, it was of course Natsupoi with the fairy gift onto Rian, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. They gained the next 2 points with the total of 8. But however, Rian and Waka ended up in the bottom of the barrel with just 0. Our next match is our main event, which is of course a very interesting one. It's a showdown between God's Eye members. We have of course Amisuri and Lady C, also known as the Riara Tokyo Towers. They take on, of course, Saki Kashima and Shuri. Now, many people would think this is going to be interesting, but one thing is for sure: we know that one person is very much of a scaredy cat to confront Amisuri, and that is, of course, Saki Kashima. But however, Shuri was the one who ended up, being taken out by Amisuri with the like a thunderbolt, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Amisuri makes a play for the IWGP Women's title, but we may never know. But we'll see what happens until then. But however, they did gain, of course, 4 new points, 2 new points with total points of 4, leaving, of course, Saki Kashima and Shuri with just 6. And of course, they closed down the show, all 4 of them, since they are part of the same faction. So I think that's pretty much it what we had, of course, with day 8. Let's move on with day 9 of Stardom. Okay, we continue with day 9 of Stardom's Goddesses of Tag League. So this happened on the 24th of November, in of course at Iwaki City Gymnasium in Fukushima, of course. We opened up with a very interesting six-person tag match. We have Kiyo Furuzawa teaming up with DLM Osita and Teo Leko, taking on the hate members Rina, Konami, and Sayakami Tani. Now, of course, we know the kind of tactics that Hate has been doing for a long time. They like to play dirty, and that's exactly what they did. But in the end, it was a buzzsaw kick by Konami onto Furusawa, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, our next match, we have EXV members Rian and Waka Tsukiyama taking on Momo, Kogo, and who was it? Saki Kashima. Now, of course, we probably know that Saki Kashima and Momo will not get along because they're from two different factions. But nonetheless, that this match ended with Waka picking up the win onto Momo with the Austrian suplex, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now we jump into of course, to the actual tag league. We have the Red Goddesses, Mi Vida Loca, consisting of Akira Kurugani and Bozilla, taking on God's Eyes, Aranayagana, and Hina. Now, obviously, with this match, many of you would think Bozilla would have the better chance due to being a stronger one. But no, in the end, it was in fact Yagami with the beat strike onto Kurugani, and just like that, she submitted. She tapped out. It was completely over, leaving, of course, God's Eye with 6 points, and of course, Mi Vida Loca with just 4. Now we continue with more of the Red Goddesses block. We have Cosmic Angel Sayuri Anu and Natsupoi taking on Hate, Ruaka, and Natsuko Tora. But of course, like any other match, we know that this was a calculated move by Hate to attack them no matter what. And then, of course, we did see the mist onto Sayuri Anu by Natsuko Tora, and then, of course, a German suplex by Ruaka onto Sayuri Anu, and just like that, is over. But however, the whole thing was not over until the post match, where Kamitani. Now, many of you know this. I mentioned recently, Sayuri Anu will be challenging for the red belt at Dream Queendom by the end of this year. So basically, Kamitani is not gonna make her life a living hell the way she did with Tam Nakano, which obviously is something that we know she'll do. But we'll just have to wait and see. But however, both sides ended up with the total points of 8. So we'll see how that rolls up. Now, our next match, well, next 3 matches are all Blue Goddesses, of course. We have Megan Bain and Hanako, also known as Mega Skyscrapers. They take on O2 line, Miyu, Amasaki, and Azumi. Now, of course, we know that Hanako and Mega Bain are 2 of the strongest people and the 2 of the biggest. And that's always been a clear thing. Now, we do know that Azumi is capable of handling people a bit more larger, but however, it was in fact Mega Bain with Skyfall onto Amasaki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. And Megan Bain and Hanako ended up with the total points of 10. Now, our next match, we have Mi Vida Loca, Rina Yamashita, and Suzuki taking on Riara Tokyo Towers, consisting of members from God's Eye, Lady C, and Ami Sori. Now, of course, so far we haven't seen Suzuki and Rina Yamashita picking up any points at all. But in the end, it was a count out. Somehow, Lady C and Ami Sori were able to survive it, and just like that, it was just a count out after what? I didn't write down the timing, but yes, and it was a good timing right there. But however, they did gain 2 new points with the total points of 6, leaving, of course, Zuzu and Rina with just 0. Our main event, we have Sakurada, consistent of Cosmic Angel members and the young Cosmic Angel girls, um, Sayakara and Aya Sakura, taking on Star member Saida and B Priestley. Now, keep in mind, we all know that the experience sometimes plays out in very factors. I mean, Ida and B Priestley are far more experienced than, of course, than Kurara and Sakura, which obviously we cannot overlook. But many people would have imagined that they will be able to pick up a win against them, which they did because it was Kurara with the Prism capture, which is a pinning move, and just onto B Priestley, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she picked up the win, and they got the total points of 6, leaving of course Stars with the total points of 8. And I thought it was a pretty good event, and of course they closed down the show. So I think that's pretty much it right now with day 9. So let's move on with day 10 of Tag League. Okay, so we continue with more with day 10 of Stardom's Tag League, of course. And this one happened on the 26th at the Kanda Mijoi Hall. Hopefully I pronounced it right, but it's in Tokyo, in case anybody asks. And this happened on November 26th. Now we opened up with tag team action. We have the members of EXV, Rian and Waka Tsukiyama, taking on Stars, consistent of Momo Kogo and Saya Ida. Now nothing too special, so this is a non-tag league match. But however, we can tell that this is where they have to build up momentum for the ones who are participating. But it was in fact Ida who picked up the win when she applied a running lariat onto Rian, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, involving, of course, a non tag league match, we have a very interesting combination. We have Emma Maishima, she teams up with Rana Yagami while they take on Kikyo Furuzawa and B Priestley. So, of course, many of you know that B and Saida are the current team in this tournament, but it's great that they're teaming outside to teach something to these rookies. But in the end, it was B Priestley that was able to pick up the win by submission onto Maishima, and just like that, it was completely over by tap out. Now let's jump in, of course, with the tag league. First, we have the Red Goddesses. We have Yuna Mizumori and Mei Seta taking on the current Goddesses Tag Champions, of course, BMI 2000, Ruka, and Natsuko Tora of Hate. Now, it's no secret that we will see dirty tactics coming from them, but the one thing that was interesting is the fact that Raka was able to counter the Rolling Star that normally is the primary weapon that Maysita would use against anybody. Well, somehow she was able to counter it. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Raka picked up the win for her team, giving them their next 2 points with a total of 10, leaving Yuna Mizumori and Maysita with 7. So that's real disappointing right there. Now, anyway, our next 2 matches are part of the Blue Goddesses. Uh, we have, of course, the Lady C and Ami Sori taking on O2 Line, Miyu Amasaki and Azumi. So basically, nothing too special. But of course, they are a bit of holding on by a threat in this type of match. But in the end, it was Amasaki that picked up the win by her pinfall onto Sayuri Anu, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, they gained the next 2 points with a total points of 4, leaving Amiso and Lady C with just 6. Oh, excuse me. Next match, we have Sakurada of the Cosmic Angels, Saya Kurara and Aya Sakura teaming up, taking on God's Eye, consistent of Saki Kashima and Shuri. Now, many of you know this, that Kashima will never forgive Kurara for what she did. Many of you may remember that Kurara accidentally spoke up on behalf of Kashima, trying to translate a little bit of the English where she messed up. So basically, Kashima hasn't forgotten, and I'm not sure if Kurara realizes that she made a big mistake. But it took at least 2 times for Kashima to apply her main weapon, which is of course the Kishikase, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So Kashima got a bit of a measure of revenge for that, but that's how it is. Now let's jump in back to the red goddesses. We do have Miku Kane and Suri taking on DLM, Osita, and Teo Leko, of course. Um, or Teo Loke or something like that. Anyway, of course, this match you probably would have thought the Luchadors were going to pick up the win. No. In the end, it was Suri with a submission onto Osita, and just like that, Osita had no choice but to tap out. And this gave them, of course, a total points of 6, leaving DLM with just 7. Now, our next match is part of the Blue Goddesses. We have Mi Vida Loca, consisting of Suzuki and Rina Yamashita, taking on the Mega Skyscrapers, Mega Bane and Hanako. And I have to say, it was a very tough match because they're not just facing anybody. They're facing two competitors. They're bigger and stronger, of course. I mean, we know that Hanako is not in the same level of experience as both um, Zuzi and Rina Yamashita. But what's amazing is that Rina Yamashita was able to apply of course, a splash mount onto Hanako, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Again, they got the first 2 points with the total points of 2, leaving of course Hanako and Mega Bane with the total points of 10. And finally, our main event, we have the other members of Mi Vida Loca, consistent of Akira Kurigani and Bozilla, taking on Cosmic Angels Sayuri Anu and Natsupoi. Now, of course, this was not going to be an easy tag because you're facing against Bozilla, who is a strong individual that she was determined to pick up wins. And that's exactly what she was going to do, and that's exactly how things happened. So, basically, it was completely over. So Bozilla picked up the win by applying a sit-down power bomb on Sayuri Anu, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. So we'll see how things will go from there. And I think that's pretty much it on this one. So let's move on with, of course, with day 11 of Goddesses Tag League. Okay, day 11 of Stardom's Tag League, of course. This happened on the 28th in the KBS Hall in Kyoto. Now, this particular day is when they determine who will be the final 6 people, six teams, 3 for the Red Goddesses and 3 from the Blue. So, but first, let's begin with the non-tag league matches. We do have Emma Maishima taking on Saya Kamitani. Now, it's no secret that, of course, Maishima being a rookie and all, that she was most likely going to take the fall regardless. But the way she lost, Saya Kamitani applied, of course, the infamous Boston Crab, which we all know these rookies have to learn how to master it, for future references in their careers. And that's exactly what happened. So she ended up losing. Now, our next match, we have a three-way: Momo Kogo, Yuna Mizumori, and Meiseda. And it was a three-way. Now, obviously, you probably know by now that this could be one of those moments where it's all about the high-speed belt, because we know Momo has challenged that before but failed, so the Yuna Mizumori. But as always, Meiseda was able to pick up the win when she applied the Rolling Star on Yuna Mizumori, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So it was completely done from there. Now, we begin with, of course, the Red Goddesses. We have, of course, DLM, Osita, and um, Teoleko. Or they take on, of course, BMI 2000, Ruka, and Natsuko Tora. Now, of course, when it comes to these two, Hate, we know that they're determined to pick up the wins by any means necessary, even if they have to cheat their way through. And that's exactly what they did. They did unnecessary tactics to them. But in the end, it was in fact a Death Valley bomb by, of course, Natsuko Tora on Te o uh, Loke. And just like that, one, two, three, it was over. But however, it was later revealed that they BMI 2000 are in, of course, in the last representatives of the red goddesses. Now let's jump into the blue. We do have, of course, the other members of Hate, Rina and Konami, taking on Mi Vida Loca, consistent of Suzuki and Rina Yamashita. Now, of course, nothing too special about this match whatsoever, but however, this ended with, of course, uh, Zuzu applying the tequila shot, and just like that, one, two, three, was over. She did that onto Rina, and it was over. So basically, Hate just remained at the total points of 6, while Mi Vida Loca with the total points of 4. So, but I do know there was a little bit of a mix-up on what happened. Now we do got the other members of Mi Vida Loca on the Red Goddesses, Bozilla and Kurigani. They take on EXV, Rian, and Waka Tsukiyama. Well, this match ended with, of course, a crossface by Kurigani onto Rian, and just like that, one, two, three, it was over. And just like that, they gained 2 points with total points of 8, leaving Rian and Waka with 0. However, it was later told that um, Kurigani and Bozilla are in the last 3 in the Red Goddesses. So they joined BMI 2000. Now, our next match, we do have, of course, um, Mega Skyscrapers, Hanako, and Mega Bane taking on Godzai, of course, consistent of Saki, Kashima, and Rian. Now, of course, Kashima, we know that she's a bit scared to take on people who are a bit more bigger than her. Well, that's her mess, of course, and we would have assumed this match would have ended up with a win, but no. This match ended in a time limit draw. After 15 minutes, everybody gets 2 points, a point each. So, in a way, the Mega Skyscrapers ended up with a total points of 11, while God's Eye with 9. However, we did learn that Kashima and Shuri did make the finals, but due to the circumstances, Kashima ended up getting hurt. So yeah. Our next match, we have the Blue Goddesses. We have Sakurada and Sayaka and Aya Sakura taking on O2 Line. And many of us might have thought that O2 Line would have picked up the win, but no. This one ended with, of course, Sakura pinning Azumi, which was very interesting. We did not expect it. And of course, they made it to the last 3. And then finally, our last of the Red Goddesses, we have Miku Kane and Suri taking on Cosmic Angels, Saori Anu, and Natsupoi. So you probably can guess how this is going to be. Of course, it's no secret about Natsupoi and Shuri being 2 of the closest friends, but Shuri has often criticized Natsupoi that she had lost her fire, and that's exactly what happened. But in the end, it was Miku Kane with the jackknife onto Saori Anu, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, they picked up the win. However, during the post match, um, we did see Kurigani and Bozilla making their presence known, because they will be their opponents they'll be facing next, because that's how it's going to be. So we'll see what happens until then on day 12. So stay tuned for that. So let's do that right now. Okay, day 12 of Stardom's Tag League, and this happened on the 29th in, of course, the Edion Arena Osaka 2, which is a very popular venue. Many of you may have seen it. Now, let's start up with the non-tag league matches. We have Saori Anu and Shuri teaming up. They take on Hate members um, Konami and Sayakami Tani. Now, remember, folks, Kamitani will be defending the red belt at Dream Queendom by the end of this year, but also challenge for the IWGP Women's Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. So you can consider this as a preliminary match if you can. Now, when it comes to hate, as always, we know that they always do unnecessary tactics, causing referees to lose track of what they're doing. But we did see Kamitani low blow the referee, and then of course Kamitani pulled out the black spray can onto Saudi Anu, and then gave her the chance to apply the Star Crusher. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Kamitani picked up the win on Saudi Anu. And of course, during the post match, she is determined to make fun of her and say she's going to destroy her. But the real question is, can she pull it off, or will Saudi Anu dethrone her, and not to mention get a little bit of measure of payback for what happened to Tam? So we'll see how that rolls up when we get there. Now, our next match, we have a three-way. We have, of course, Rina and Hina versus, and of course, Megan Bayne in a three-way. But however, you probably can guess that their bigger threat is Megan Bayne, and that's always been the case right there. But Megan Bayne was able to pick up the win on Hina when she applied the running power bomb, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, completely over. Now, our next match, we have, of course, DLMM Osita and Tel Loke taking on, of course, Furuzawa and Momokogo. But nothing too special about this match. But this match ended with submission by Osita onto Momokogo, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we have Emma Maishima teaming up with the ladies of the Cosmic Angels, Yuna Mizumori and Natsupoi, taking on Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, Azumi, and Mei Sira. Now, obviously, many of you know that Yuna Mizumori has her sights set on the high-speed belt, but of course, there were moments where we did see that they were willing to give Emma Maishima the opportunity to shine. But unfortunately, that didn't do so well until she ended up on the wrong side of the Tenzai by Amasaki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have EXV members Rian, Waka Tsukiyama, and Hanako taking on God's Eye, consisting of Rana Yagami, Lady C, and Ami Sori. Now, of course, nothing too special about this match whatsoever. We do know that Hanako and Megan Bayne are in the whole thing, but they're waiting to see who will walk out to face, and I'll get to that in a bit. But this match ended with, of course, by Rihanna applying a bridge onto Rana Yagami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Mi Vida Loca, consisting of Suzuki and Rina Yamashita taking on BMI 2000. This match, you all know how it is with the hate tactics and all that, but however, things didn't go according to plan for them, because it ended in a 15-minute time limit draw, even though it's not part of Tag League. Now, our next step here in this phase is, as you know, in the Tag League, we're not jumping into point-based system anymore. We're jumping in now to elimination. So we have a playoff in the Red Goddesses block. We have Akira Kurigani and Bozilla taking on Miku Kane and Suri. Now, obviously, we know that Suri and Bozilla have met before, and that sets it up. But unfortunately, it was in fact Miku Kane who ended up in the wrong side of the Northern Light suplex by Kurigani, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So that means they will be beating up with BMI 2000 in the semifinals the following day. Now, our next match is the Blue Goddesses playoff. We have stars consisting of B Priestley and Saida taking on Sakurada of the Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara. And many people might have thought in some capacity that B Priestley and Saida would have picked up the win, but no. In fact, in the end, it was Aya Sakura that picked up Saida, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. So they will be meeting with Megan Bayne and Hanako, aka the Mega Skyscraper. So that's going to be a fun, interesting match. So I can't wait to review the final. So let's just get to it right now. Okay, finally, day 13, the finals of course, of Stardom's Tag League. And this happened, of course, in Hamamatsu on the 30th of November. Now, we did open up with the semifinals of the tournament. Now, let's begin with the Blue Goddesses. We have Sakurada, consisting of the members of Cosmic Angels, or as people call them, Young Kozen, Sayaka Kurara, and Aya Sakura. They face Mega Skyscrapers, Megan Bane, and Hanako. Now, it's no secret for those who've been following Stardom, there's been some history between both Hanako and Sakura, in obvious reasons. If you guys know their history, they debuted back in March of 2023. That was almost what, about 2.5 years ago, and right now they're almost about to reach their third year mark. So that sets it up right there. But, however, the real question is, can Sakura defeat her? Because we know she defeated her for the New Blood Tag Team belts, and this was not an easy task, knowing that there's two big competitors, and that sets it up. But in the end, it was somehow Sakura who was able to pin Hanako, and just like that, they made it to the finals. And then, of course, let's move on to the Red Goddesses semifinals. We have Mi Vida Loca, consisting of Kira Kurigani and Bozilla, taking on BMI 2000, Raka and Natsuko Tora, of course, our current tag champions. Obviously, we know that they were intending to play dirty tactics. That's exactly what we have known, have they been doing for years, and they've always been known to do things like that. We did see, of course, the referee being pulled by Kamitani, and then, of course, we did see, what was it? Missed by Natsuko Tora onto Bozilla, and just like that, Bozilla was the one who ended up losing to Natsuko Tora. And of course, I'm sure Bozella will have nothing more to get a measure of payback on Natsuko Tora. So this is going to be a very interesting match. The finals will be, of course, Hate members BMI 2000 and Cosmic Angels member Sakurada. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Now, our next match, we have members of Hate, Rina and Konami, taking on EXV, Rina, Rian, and Waka Tsukiyama. Now, this match went completely like that. It was Waka who picked up the win onto Rina. And because of this match, this is where, of course, Hate got the retaliation. And out of nowhere, Micah, who we haven't seen for quite some time, made her return. And here's what's going on. Because of Waka pinning Rina, that automatically would put her in a position to face off for the artist belts. And of course, Micah, as you know, she has a bone to pick against Hate. Not only that, but Kamitani for screwing her out of the red belt when she lost to Natsuko Tora back in what was it? Back in 2024 of last year. And now, of course, Micah is questioning about the current state of EXV since her absence. So we'll see how things will roll up from there. Now, our next match, we have a three-way. We have Emma Maishima, Lady C, and Suzuki. Now, nothing too special about this match, but obviously, if you watch a lot of wrestling in Japanese style, you will know that Emma Maishima was most likely going to take the loss, and she is the least experienced. And that's exactly what happened, because it was, in fact, Zuzu with the tequila shot onto Emma Maishima, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Kikyo Furuzawa and DLM, Osita and Teo Loke, taking on, of course, Neo Genesis, Miyu Masaki, Azumi, and Mei Sita. But nothing too special about this match at all. But however, it was Azumi with the Azumi Sushi on Furuzawa, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have the members of God's Eye, consisting of Kiyoka Kotatsu, Tomoka Inaba, Hina, and Ami Sori, taking on Star members Yuri Hib, who made her return after injury, Momo Koko, Saida, and B Priestley. Now, of course, nothing too special, but however, many of you may know that two people have pinned Konami and most likely want to aim for the white belt, and that's exactly what happened. But in the end, it was, of course, a crossface by Inaba Antahina, and just like that, it was completely over. But however, we did see Hate members Konami and Rina attack both Ami Suri and Saida. So basically, what's happening is Konami is issuing a challenge for whoever's going to challenge for the white belt. However, she wants a full competitor. So there's going to be a number one contendership that would lead to that. So we'll see how things roll from there. Now, our next match, we have Miku Kane and Suri taking on the Cosmic Angels, Yuna Mizumori and Natsupoi. Now, many of you may know this. Natsupoi and Suri are good friends, been very good friends for a long time. But not to mention, Yuna Mizumori has declared war on Suri. However, I have to say, Yuna Mizumori really put up a hell of a fight. Even took it straight up to Suri. But in the end, it was, of course, Natsupoi with the fairy blink onto Mikukane, and just like that, one, two, three, it's over. However, we did see, of course, Natsupoi and Suri. It seems like they're going to have a match. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be at Dream Queendom. That's something we don't know. But I'll stay tuned for that for more. So we'll see. Our next match, we have God's Eye, consisting of Rani Agami and Shuri taking on the members of Hate, Azusa Hinaba and Saya Kamitani. Now, you can consider this as a preliminary match between Kamitani and Shuri, because Shuri will be defending the IWGP Women's Championship at Wrestle Kingdom, and of course, Kamitani will love nothing more to obtain it, and that's exactly what she's going to do. But however, it was Shuri that picked up the win when she defeated Azusa Hinaba, and just like that, one, two, three, done. Now, our main event is the finals of Goddess of Tag League. We have Sakurada, Sayaka Kurara, and Aya Sakura taking on BMI 2000, members of Hate, Raka, and Natsuko Tora. Now, of course, it's no secret that these two factions have been at war with each other countless times. And of course, this is going to be a tough challenge because we know the dirty tactics that Hate likes to do every single time. And we've seen it time and time again. But no matter what, this match tells a good story. You know these two ladies will love nothing more to succeed and shine, and that's exactly what they've been intending to do. They refuses to stay down no matter what Hate did to them. But in the end, of course, we did see that somehow Kurara was able to avoid the blue mist by Natsuko Tora, and later got speared. And then, of course, we did see Sakura, of course, in fact, apply a jackknife, and then it was countered, and then back and forth, just like that. One, two, three. Sakurada picked up the win, and they are this year's Goddesses of Stardom Tag League winners. And this is very cool, and it made me cry just a little bit because no one would have thought they would have won it. And I know many people would say Tam Nakano would have been so proud of them, knowing that they're succeeding, even though it sucks that she's not there to watch it. But we know she'll be watching them from a distance, and that's something better. But some people made reference about recently. If you notice, they put the rings in their index fingers, and people were saying, why would they? What's so that important? Many of you may not know this, that the reason is important is because Tam Nakano always had a ring in her index fingers. Is more like paying tribute to her. But recently, people were comparing both of them, uh, Kurara and Sakura, that they are like the new version of Dream H, I mean, Dream Shine, which is of course the faction, the tag team name between Tam Nakano and Arisa Oshiki. And I can tell the difference. Like if you look at Aya Sakura, she has the same kind of striking capabilities as Oshiki, and that's for Kurara, where we know her close relationship towards Tam, and that sets it out. But I wouldn't say they are the same kind of comparison. We know that they are willing to shine even further, and we have high hopes for both these ladies. But we'll see how things will go from there. So I'm have to say I'm very happy for them, and of course we do know that Sakurada will be challenging for the tag team belts at Dream Queendom. I wouldn't be surprised if they do win it by miracle, because we do know that soon their 3 year experience will be coming up soon. I mean, for Sakura, who debuted in March of 2020, 2023. When we hit to 2026, that'll be the end of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if she dropped the new Blood Tag Team belt. As for Carraro, well, we know she debuted in December of 2023. So we'll see how things will go from there. But as of right now, um, we'll end things here and call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we do have NXT. I haven't decided yet, but however, due to the circumstances, I may hold up on this one and put it on a Wednesday episode due to the fact that I could not do this video completely right. So I'll explain that on a separate video what I'm talking about. So that way you guys can understand that. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is. And of course, until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.